Welcome back to the Fundamentals Podcast, where we talk all things related to sports from a fan's perspective. This is an opinion based show. It's opinion based. All right. It's fun. It's talking about what we enjoy, talking about what we believe, and it's all opinion based. All right. So if you don't like our opinion, I do not know what to tell you. All right.
It's
How y'all
bad you
guys
gotta do a
doing?
disclaimer like that.
I have to do a disclaimer like that. I have to. It's opinion based. I gotta let them know. All right. For starters, I know y'all kept up. I know y'all know what's happening in college football. What's going on? What do y'all think? What are y'all thoughts after week one?
Yeah,
Crickets?
I mean, Arch Manning didn't look that great against Texas, at least from what I hear. I didn't get a chance to really sit and watch the
Nobody
game.
watched. Y'all didn't watch
But
any college football?
man,
I watched
No.
the Buffaloes play Georgia Tech for about half the game, and then I watched highlights from the Texas-Ohio State game, and it looks like Arch Manning just played up against a defense
again,
that was really, really good, and, national champions. And
I
Yeah.
heard, and I also heard that wasn't doing a good job with his play calling either. So
Sarkisian, yeah, he's
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot
I,
of criticism of his play calling.
So based on, I mean, in my opinion, based on what I saw, I feel like Steve Sarkisian definitely didn't open up the playbook till later. A lot of the, I mean, it felt like maybe they were just going through like some practice runs. I don't know. Like they definitely limited him until the fourth, until the pressure came on, and you see, I don't, y'all didn't watch it, but in the fourth quarter, he kind of started to open up some things, and Arch Manning did kind of start throwing down the field a little bit. Now, I'll be
Mm-hmm.
honest, I he wasn't super accurate, and there was some things where he held the ball a little too long. Um, I personally feel like it was a lot of nerves. I feel like to open up game one against the national champions, I felt like it was a lot of pressure. And my take on it was this is not something where the Manning family came out and said, he's this, right? This is
Mm-hmm.
something that the media went and put on him. They had
Oh
him
yeah,
as one of the Heisman candidates.
yeah.
He didn't, you
And
know,
he ain't
like
really played much last year.
he didn't play.
So
Yeah, he played. He started what, two, three, 2.5. Well, the
mm-hmm.
two
Like
games.
2 weeks,
One
2.5
against,
weeks.
yeah, one of them against UTSA and Southern Mississippi, I believe, or something like that, right? So there's for them to have him as a Heisman candidate. That's strictly off his last name. But again,
Namesake.
that's not
Yep.
that's not something where he came out and said that he's this. That's not something where the Manning family came out and said that he's this. This is something that was projected onto him from the fans. This is something that was projected onto him from the media. Um,
Yeah.
I kind of take issue with that because it's like, wait, y'all said that he was this, and now that he's not, y'all are backtracking like, oh, who put him? Who said he was? Why is he?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you
Yeah.
mean? Like, what do you
Yeah.
mean? And
He's
so,
got a lot of media hype for the last couple of
well,
years, and he ain't really did much.
no, and that's the thing though. He hasn't had a chance to get his feet wet. And
Yeah.
then you throw him up against the best team in college football, who's got a strong defense and a great defensive coordinator and a solid coach. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what happened to these really good teams that would kind of get their feet wet playing, Division II teams and stuff in the first couple of weeks, and the Appalachian State teams and stuff, and it just I don't understand the thinking. You've got a brand new quarterback who you've basically built your entire season around, and you're going to throw him up against Ohio State on the first game of the season. That's just you're just setting him up for failure right there. And I mean, you look
or
at even
persevere,
his
I mean, I do get it that he was the successor for what you call him for last year. So
when you were, yeah.
yeah.
yeah. So I guess I understood he was gonna be the starter. I mean, but it's a new season. Sometimes it's just
Yeah.
like you might got to get your feet wet or whatever. The thing that you know I mean, it's just one game. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you playing against a
Yeah,
very
he's
good
gonna get
team.
better.
So let's
Yeah.
just be honest. Like for
Yeah.
one, when you really look at it, yeah, bad game, good defense. It wasn't like y'all are out of the game. It was 14-7.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
couple of
Yeah. Their
mistakes, couple of
defense.
things going a different way.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the game fully, but I heard about the game because I was on the game with people that was playing the game, and I was hearing people, you know what I'm saying, talk about it. Mainly my
Yeah.
brother, you know what I'm saying, was talking
Mhm.
about it, and it's like it sounded like it wasn't just all on him. Like it
Yeah.
sounded like some of the receivers were dropping balls. I mean,
Yeah. It
certain
he
things that's going
yeah,
on and bad
there
decision
was
making and
some
stuff like that. So I mean, it
there
is
was
what it
some
is.
dropped passes, but he threw some passes behind the receivers. There was some
Mhm.
low thrown in the dirt. Like he was inaccurate. Right? I'll just
Right.
he was inaccurate. But like I believe a lot of it was nerves. Hey, and look,
But to
the
lose 14-7,
yeah,
Yeah.
both
that means
defenses played really
some
well.
of the
National
defenses
champion. Yeah.
played good enough that you just had to get. You know, it just happens. Everybody has a
And
bad game. Let's just be
and
honest.
and
Everybody has a bad game.
and for the record, I love ranked teams starting out playing each other early in college football.
Yeah.
I love week one, in my opinion,
To
was
be,
great. I loved
I
the
was
Clemson LSU game. I loved it. What was you gonna say, Adrian?
I was about to say, I was just about to say that, like, I did look at the schedule, and there was a lot of ranked games. That's normally not what happens in week one of college football. There was a lot of prime time, some real good matchups out there. With, like you
I loved
said,
it. Shake it up early.
Clemson, LSU, you had Alabama and Florida State. And even though Florida State ain't ranked, they about to be. They ranked
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
I heard about that
Oh,
thrashing.
yeah.
Miami, Notre Dame was a good one.
great game.
And so it's like we had a bunch of solid, you know, and that's unprecedented for college football. Usually it is like you might get an Oregon versus Georgia or something and rank and see week one, and that be the only game that really people tune in to watch because everything else is like Alabama versus like some team way Appalachian State or some crazy junk like that. And it's just like there ain't no real game to really watch. So I
Yeah,
like that they did the schedule that way. I hate that
me
I
too.
missed most of it on Saturday, but
No, see, I want my team to beat every other team in September by 45 points. That's if I mean, and I haven't, my team hasn't been a contender since like the 90s and stuff, but
Yeah,
that's what I want, is if I'm in Alabama or if I'm in Ohio State or if I'm in Texas, I don't want anything close, especially if I've got a brand new quarterback who I'm trying to get comfortable and trying to figure out what he's, really, really locked in on and stuff, and maybe even throw some questions at the opposing defenses and stuff and do different things with them and stuff so they don't really know anything about him because he's doing stuff that's different. But
right.
that's what I want if I'm a top ranked team. I
I
don't
will
want
say
it to be close for the first month at least.
I agree, and then at the same time I kind of do want you out there because I want to see what you got again in the big moments, the big games
Yeah,
or whatever. And yes, it's not,
yeah, for
and I
sure.
think it's better in the beginning than it is like doing it in the end.
Sure.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
It's
Because in the
better to lose early.
beginning,
Absolutely.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because that's going to be like, okay, we lost. Now we can run the table. Now we can see what you did against the actual prime time teams. So now we got a way to try to tweak it as we going through the season. So I kind of want to see how you do under big game pressure
Good point.
because you're going to need that type of experience when you start playing the big teams, especially when you get into conference play. You about to be every week going against, especially in the SEC, you're going against
yeah,
juggernauts quite a bit. You know what I'm saying? So I do want to see how you're going to handle those big game moments. And if you
right.
start showing me a little signs, and even
Sure.
though we might lose, I'd rather take this L week one. And let's see what you got the next week.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
week one, you could take this big L. The next week, you might be playing a cupcake. So
Yeah.
okay, we're gonna
Yeah,
take what you learned from week one. We're gonna apply it to this team right here that ain't matching up to us, and we're gonna put the game plan to let you really get out there. Now you've seen what it looks like against a hard team. Now we're gonna see what it look like against a team that's not so, you know what I'm saying, prime
Sure.
time like that.
Makes
So
sense.
And then if you can win in that game against the big team, well, that's going to definitely boost your confidence. You know what I'm saying? And I could guarantee you, probably going into the next week, like, okay, this is what I seen against one of the top ranked teams, which played a really good defensive game, and we still had a shot. You know what I'm saying? Because I know I got my defense back here that's going to back me up. And if we could just fix some things here offensively, he might got a little confidence coming into the next week. Like, okay, I done seen the worst. So let me play my best. You see what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah.
can always shake off those jitters and stuff like that. So now I done seen the best. So now let's just really go and, okay, I know we can play against these boys. So,
Yeah.
he might get a little confidence going. So that might be a good thing.
Yeah.
I
Look.
just don't want you getting hurt against the big teams in the
Yeah.
beginning.
Yeah. Look. Texas is playing San Jose State. This coming week. That's going to be a good game for him to just readjust, reacclimate, get balanced, and get comfortable. I think that's a good game for him. I think that's a good game for Steve Sarkisian, and I think that it's a good game for the wide receivers to build the chemistry. I have no question marks with the run game. The offensive line looked really good for Texas. The defensive line looked really good for Texas. The secondary looked really good for Texas. The chemistry between the quarterback and wide receivers and the coaching staff, that needs to be tuned, and Texas will be fine. I think people are overreacting. Now, I have a question for both of y'all. Obviously, y'all saw Alabama lost. I watched that game. I have my opinions on that. But, you know, did any did y'all expect any? Did y'all think there was any chance that Florida State would beat Alabama?
I always feel like there is.
Yeah, and
I mean, the Florida
especially
State.
Alabama now. This isn't.
Yeah, it's not a Nick Saban
Right,
Alabama
yeah.
team. Like
Okay,
they shown
that's
vulnerabilities last
Yeah.
year.
right.
Even you know what I'm saying. So they've shown vulnerabilities. So we
Yeah.
know that they don't have the same they don't have the same coaching for one.
Yeah.
So and like we talked about it a couple of times, is the NIL has spread so much talent around.
Sure.
It kind of dilutes what Alabama normally would be. Now, are they a good team? I still think they're a good team, but Florida State, I don't think Florida State last year was what Florida State should have been. I think Florida State should have been better than what they showed last year. So I don't think people looking at Florida State like, oh, they were 2 and something last year or whatever. I don't see them repeating that same thing, because last year they were thinking that Florida State might be at least a pretty decent squad,
Yeah.
and you just happen to get your butt whooped every time you played on the field. But
Mhm.
I mean, but that's just how I looked at it. Like, I'm not surprised they lost. I mean, I kind of would have favored Alabama to win, but I don't think Florida State is a terrible team in the first place. So
Fair.
now Alabama getting their butt whooped, like, had to get handled like they. Now I wasn't expecting that, even though they started, from what I've seen, they started coming back, but a little bit. But by that time it's probably out of reach anyway. But
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. But yeah, that was kind of shocking a little bit to hear that they were getting their butt whooped, but I don't expect the same juggernaut Alabama squad that people are used to. I just
Well,
don't have that thought process anyway.
one of the things that I had saw that people didn't fear Alabama; they feared Nick Saban, and
Makes
that
sense.
was exactly it. Bro, like Florida State ran the ball down Alabama's throat, like with easy. Florida State had a field day on the run game, but not only that, they were able to stop the run. And
Yeah.
I was watching that game, and I was thinking, I was like, no way Nick Saban lets his team get run on like this. There's no way that he gives up 200 plus yards rushing.
Somebody would have been
No,
benched that game.
no
Few
way
people would have
Nick
been
Saban
benched.
lets that happen. So it led me to want to prompt me to ask this question: could we put Nick Saban as one of the greatest, or no, the greatest college coach in college football history.
I mean, theoretically, you could say that he's
Yeah, I
he's
don't have a
definitely one
problem
of the
with it.
greatest. I mean, it's no,
He did it with more
he's
than one team.
proved it. He's the one with two different
Yeah,
teams. Technically,
yeah,
he's the one in Alabama, and he's the one in LSU. So I mean,
yeah.
Yeah,
I can't think
that's
of a coach that I would put above him. You know, you've
right.
got
hold on, sorry,
the,
y'all.
no, I've got dogs about ready to go off too because my daughter just got home. So,
Okay,
but
yeah,
no, yeah. I mean, you look at the Tom Osbornes and the Switzers and some of the old
yeah,
school coaches and stuff, and of course they're going to be mentioned in the conversation. But there's not anybody I would put currently in the
Yeah,
same class as him. I mean, maybe Urban Meyer, but even him, his reputation is kind of
it's kind of
fallen
shot
off of a
after.
cliff. Yeah, after
Yeah.
what happened
hmm
in Jacksonville and all of
Hmm.
the stuff that's come out of Florida and Ohio State and
Yeah,
even
with the
Utah.
documentary and
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
So yeah, I don't see anybody even close to him currently. And then yeah, you just have to throw in a couple of the juggernauts from back in the day,
yeah.
that I already
yeah,
mentioned, from the old
Yeah,
Big Eight.
maybe Switzer might be maybe the closest in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
yeah.
but
Switzer was a good, damn
yeah,
good coach.
yeah. So I think that's as close as you come. Other than that, you have to, I mean he's it, man. He's a one, and it shows. If nothing else, these last two, like this last season and this season, I think will expose that actually helps his legacy. What this loss and what happened last year, that helps his legacy because it's like, look, it was him. Now I know you mentioned the fact with the UIL and the talent being able to spread and all of that. I know
hmm
that's a thing. So things have changed, but there's no doubt in my mind that Alabama is still the team, or at least in the top three of the teams if he's still coaching there. I like
Yeah. If he was
regardless of
still
the things
coaching, they
changing.
would
Yeah,
be. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
It wouldn't have been
regardless,
the
man.
same on Saturday if he was still coaching.
Oh
Nah,
yeah,
I don't see
absolutely
it being
not.
the same type of
But
type of beat down
that's
there in the
but that's a
receiving.
great conversation as far as NIL goes because look at how it's evened the playing fields with an
Yes.
hmm
ACC conference. That has kind of been a joke. I mean, they were undefeated a couple years ago and they didn't even make the playoffs. And now
Yeah.
this ACC team schools, a traditionally powerhouse Alabama team. I mean,
Right.
that's the best thing about college football now, especially from a not Alabama fan perspective or, all these other teams that just seem to, not an SEC fan,
Oh
kind
yeah.
of guy
Yeah.
hmm
here. When you look
That's
at,
a big thing.
there's actually a little bit of parity in college football now, and there's more
Yeah,
teams that have a chance to win it.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. No,
yeah.
that
There's
that
no. I don't think it'll ever be no longer the SEC and the rest of them. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
mean, even though the SEC still keeps getting stronger, adding
sure.
teams like Texas and Oklahoma,
'Cause
you know,
they've got money still, yeah, and they can
yeah,
yeah.
they
you
can pay
still got it
Yeah.
there, but it's just the other powerhouse conferences, like we said, the ACC or even the Big Ten, because they done
yeah,
added
got
powerhouse
Oregon
schools
and
out there with Oregon in them.
yeah,
So the playing field is getting leveled. Those are still going to be the powerhouse schools, regardless. You know what I'm saying? But
sure.
you're gonna look at other schools like you're gonna look at your Florida States, which back in the '90s and stuff, Florida State's always been a powerhouse. They
We didn't
just
even
been
Right.
mention Bobby
downtrending for the
Bowden when
last
we're
few.
talking about
Yeah,
all-time greats. Yeah,
you know what I'm
Right. Yeah.
saying. But that's just time for these schools to kind of cycle back into being okay. Well, it ain't no longer the SEC that we all just it's gonna be. Okay, well, we here.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna learn about us.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, it's absolutely balancing out. I mean, look at who is it that just got beat by UCF, Boise State, and
Uh
look
huh.
at and they were what, ranked like 16, and they got their socks beat off of them. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's one of those things where you have to kind of pick your poison because there are some issues that have to be fine tuned with the UI, the NIL deals
Yeah.
and the the players being able to use the transfer portal and all these different things. But look what we're getting out of that. We're like you mentioned, it's starting to even out some things. These teams that, may have been traditionally, power over this particular team, that's
Mm-hmm.
that's no longer, that's starting to, and it's kind of like, I've had this conversation before with a couple people that play some D3 college football
Mm-hmm.
and D2 college football, and we were talking about, everybody believes it's D1, D2, D3, and he's like, no. He's like, that's not how it is. He says it's D1, then it's JUCO. He said those players in JUCO, those are players that just didn't make the grades, but they're really, 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 really good, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like those players, that we don't really see as being the marquee players because of the grades or whatever. Those players are starting to be like, I'm not going to the Alabama. I played 2 years or 1 year at this JUCO, showed out. I got my grades together. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
go to South Carolina instead, or I'm gonna go to, or I'm gonna go to wherever, Wake Forest, wherever. And these players are potential Florida, LSU, Alabama players, right? They were that, but they just didn't have the grades.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with these NIL deals, now these NIL people, these people that are paying, they see that at a different level. So they're like, man, that player can be marketable once he becomes a D1 player.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it works like this. Like I don't know the details, but I would like to think, let's say um let's say you're a Syracuse, right? And you know of this JUCO player that was kind of highly recruited by these, Ohio States or Michigans, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you tell, there's things that go on where it's like, yo, if you can get here, we can get you this kind of money, right? At Syracuse, he's gonna go to Syracuse, right?
Yeah.
And I know we talk about like Ohio State, but what happens is these Ohio States and Michigans, they feel like, well, we're the cream of the crop, so like we're not gonna pay that guy. We'll pay this guy,
Yeah.
and and I think that balances things out because you haven't paid that guy because he was at a JUCO, right? And I'm sure that doesn't mean that all JUCO players only go to the. But what I'm saying is you have an abundance of solid players that can play at these other elite schools, but circumstances happen, and now
Yeah.
they're getting the NILs, and they're no longer just trying to go to those schools. They now can get just enough to be able to go to these other schools that aren't considered the powerhouses, and that balances out the playing field. That makes sense. What I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Oh,
I know
sure.
I got
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
I got long winded on that, but that's what I believe is
No,
happening.
no, that made
That makes
complete
sense
sense.
though.
Yeah, and so I mean, the thing is, it's just because I've heard people come out and say they hate it. It's messing up the game. I don't know. From my perspective as a fan, I like it. I like it to be balanced. We get tired of seeing
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
same team every year.
This
You
is
know
facts.
that gets boring. You know how excited I was to watch the NBA championship last year.
Yeah. Yeah. For real. We
Like,
talked about that
oh
at great lengths.
yeah,
Yeah.
OKC in Indiana,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Like
You
you
know what I
wasn't
mean? Like,
expecting it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It
exactly.
just
So
it just brings a little bit more to the
Yeah.
table. Like I would
Well,
love
look
to
at,
see more teams.
yeah.
That's why when we talked about it before, that's why I think March Madness is the best
It's so funny.
playoffs. It's one of the best playoffs that you can ever have in any sports. Like because you never know what happens. You see like the big powerhouse schools, yeah, most people think they're gonna run the table. How often do you see number one versus number one in the championship game? Like
yeah,
you might
yeah,
see
you're right.
you might see the number 16 team knock off a number 1 or number 13 knock off whatever. You see so many upsets, which makes it so exciting to watch. Because let's just be honest, most people like the underdogs.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
Oh yeah, it's fun. It's fun
It's
watching
fun.
underdogs.
Yeah.
That's why everybody wanted to see Houston win in college, the college basketball championship last year. So many
Yeah.
people wanted to see that because it's like, well, it's Houston. You know what I mean? And regardless of what you say, nobody last year, besides maybe some of the players, most of the players, I would hope, they want to win. But nobody was like, well, Houston's going to be probably a championship contender, right? Nobody expected that last season. And now they had a really good season, and they were solid in the tournament, March Madness last year. But nobody at the beginning of that season would have said, "Yo, it's going to be Houston this year." And although
you
they
really
didn't,
wouldn't.
yeah,
Really
Well,
wasn't
with
checking
college
for 'em like
basketball, you
that.
can have 2 generational players that can win a national championship for you.
Yeah, that's a
In
fact.
college football, you've got to have more to the team than just 1 or 2 players that make that
absolutely,
difference.
Yeah,
But
most
no, you
definitely.
can turn a program around in 1 season in college basketball because you might be a Houston that can add a generational talent, at center or something like that, and
yeah.
just change everything with your program. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, another thing that can happen in, I and not so much maybe for like the World Series, but throughout the season, baseball is like that. Sometimes a one pitcher can change things. I mean, look at Otani last year got, Los Angeles over that hump that they had kind of kept bumping over the last couple seasons,
Yeah.
right? So sometimes it just takes the one player, like
The
look
pitchers
like
usually win the World Series MVP.
exactly, right?
Yeah.
And so like even like I was actually looking at the San Diego Padres, and I'm like, you know what? They have a good regular season all the time, but like but what could get them over the hump? Probably pitching. Like even look at the Rangers. What was that, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Look at the Rangers. That was pitching.
Yeah.
Like yeah,
Well,
right.
and they had
So
that one guy that showed up and was just hitting bombs.
oh
But
well, yeah. But when sometimes I feel like when we look at sports, like we're just watching it. I mean, obviously it's entertainment and that's what it's supposed to be. But sometimes I think that fans are like, this, and if you do this and this, and sometimes it's just not quite that easy. But then there's other times where it is. It's like sometimes it's just like, hey, they could really use this, and if they get that piece, that can get them over the hump, right?
Yep.
And that's the beautiful thing about sports, though, right? Like even when you look at tennis, right? It's the storylines of this team, they got this and that, or in tennis, this player, worked with this person or whatever. Anything, any little, if Florida State goes on to do what they did against Alabama, isn't that a great story? Like if they're able to play like great defense, given what they 2 years they didn't even get into the playoff, having an undefeated season, and then last year they stunk it up, and then this year they go back and redo what they did 2 years ago. That's a great storyline, right? But
Yeah.
but it all like kind of just boils down to pieces. Like
Oh yeah.
really, it just comes down to pieces. You don't think there was plenty of players that left Florida State after last season, but they got plenty of players too, and
Yeah.
it
It's all
it
about
worked out.
it's all about getting the right pieces. Once you get the right pieces, you could make anybody could be a good school if they got the right pieces. I mean, it's harder in football because you need multiple pieces.
You need so
Typically,
many pieces. Yeah,
yeah, you know what I'm saying. You need so many pieces, but it could be just one or two, like basketball, one or two players. Football, it can be a few dynamic players that you get on your team. Sometimes you got generational talents, and you see them do things like what Cam Newton did in Auburn, or your Vince Youngs, or somebody that just takes over a game, and just for one game. In football, one game, one player that just excels and just be above the rest of everybody else can win it for you. Whether
Yeah.
you causing trouble on defense, on the defensive end, shutting down somebody's corner, or a receiver, or taking their best player out the game, or you just dominating the defensive line and causing problems. It could be one player that can cause an impact to make but it's just like that's what's the beauty about sports. It could be you just need to get sometimes one, two, a few game changers, or people
Right.
that's gonna just cause havoc,
Sure.
and you looking at a whole different light, like you said with baseball. Pitching is crucial to the game.
Yeah.
Get you or it could not necessarily just picking up somebody. Somebody could just have a breakout season and
Yeah.
finally
Oh, yeah.
reach their potential of what they know they can do, and they take it and run with it. You know what I'm saying? How many times you'd have seen, even in football or whatever, how many times you'd have seen this person, you're just like, oh, they're a journeyman or whatever. They done hit this team, they done hit that team, and then all of a sudden they have a good year here. Okay, and then they might have a good year again. Then they done elevated their career. They went from a backup to a starter. There's plenty of people that have gone from a backup to a starter to a Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's you see it. I mean, and those are great storylines. So that's one thing about sports that's just beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
It's all about storylines in sports. It's really what it is.
Speaking of storylines, have y'all saw the news that broke today with the Clippers and Kawhi Leonard?
No.
Y'all haven't saw it?
No.
Oh, man.
Yeah, tell me
So
about that.
they are under investigation. It broke today. So this is Kawhi Leonard reportedly paid $28 million for a no-show job with the Clippers as a way to get around the salary cap. So basically, the Clippers paid the $28 million for something that didn't exist for Kawhi to have it. So it was a way to circumvent and be able to get around the salary cap. Okay.
So they're paying him under the table? Is that what you're telling me?
Basically, yeah.
Huh.
So Steve Ballmer is accused of paying star Kawhi Leonard $28 million for a no-show job as a way to circumvent the NBA salary cap, according to the report by Pablo Torre. An NBA spokesperson told Yahoo Sports on Wednesday that the league is aware of the report. So Pablo Torre finds out on Wednesday the show, which features plenty of direct quotes, made argument Leonard was paid $28 million through a company owned by Ballmer to essentially do nothing. Ballmer is accused of using the agreement as a way to pay Leonard more than his contract, which is, if true, is an NBA violation.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Pablo Torre has been finding some scorching stories lately.
Hasn't he? Yes, he has. Yes, he has. He has been finding.
That's crazy.
How would
bro.
That
you
is
not
crazy.
find out about that? That's
Yeah. I saw that broke about 4 hours ago. And
like we want Donald Sterling back. And
That's crazy.
That is crazy. That is the thing, man. Like
you
you
can lose your
cheating.
team for that, man. I mean,
you cheating over there.
yeah, like that is,
you cheating.
right? Like that is just.
I wonder
like-
what this is going to open up too. How many other teams are going to get figured out?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, hold on. If true, how many other teams are doing this?
Yeah.
And now that I think about it, this is probably a thing.
Yeah.
Right? I
More
never
likely.
thought about this being a thing, but this is probably
It's
a thing. This
possible.
probably happens more than we know. Right?
Yeah.
And
Let's
now-
just be honest and real.
Why
yeah.
would you even risk that? Oh my goodness.
You know, the same way players risk steroids, you know, or
Either that, or it's
anything
not,
else.
or it's not a thing, and because Steve Ballmer ain't been an owner that long. So
But he's
I don't
got it.
know. Maybe he was just in some
Yeah, he
stupid
knows.
dumb mode.
He
Ain't
knows.
you know what I'm saying? I
I'll
feel
get
like he
away with
did
it.
too,
They
but
can't
it's
touch me. Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
that's wild. So now, but
Man,
not
he has
only
too
that,
much money.
that's not only on Steve Ballmer. Like this is the thing. Kawhi Leonard knew he was getting paid more, like basically under the
Yeah,
table.
yeah. You know.
Now, like we're like, dang man, like come on Kawhi, like
This what you do,
He
yeah,
bud?
didn't do nothing
This
last
what you
year.
do? This what we own?
yeah. You
this
now
what,
you got to question. Yeah, you got to
this what
question
we
him a
own?
little
Paid
bit.
all that money for Kawhi.
You need money like
Just
that, bro?
no show.
And New
Yeah.
Balances weren't working out for you?
Yeah, hey, good for you, buddy. I'm all for the guys making more
Hey,
money.
if you get your money, man. However you
Yeah.
get your
Yeah,
money,
however
but
you
at the
can.
same time.
So
You could have
so
found
let's let
somebody that would have.
let's say this comes out and it's all true, right? I personally, if this is all true, Steve Ballmer should have to sell the team. Like this is a one and done situation for me. Like this
Yeah,
is
Yeah.
I don't you don't get any options with this. You don't no fine, no you're out. That like
they
that's
can't do that though, because he's the richest owner in basketball, as far as I know. So he's got that going for him. Yeah, I mean, you can't just make the guy sell the team. I mean, look what Donald Sterling did, and it was still they had to go through a lot to sell the team
Yeah,
to
they
make him
did.
sell the
They
team.
did.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, this might be a death sentence for him as far as ownership and stuff, and it might be a death sentence for Kawhi as far as his career goes.
yeah.
Yeah, I could see that happening. Now that I think about it, I mean, that's yeah. You got to set if this is the first time it's happened, you've got to set a hard precedent,
Precedent. Yep.
especially right now
Mm-hmm.
with the 11-year contract that ESPN and NBC and everybody else signed with the NBA. And I mean,
Yes.
everybody's pissed off at the NBA right now because what they did to, inside the NBA and everything.
NBA. Yeah.
I mean, they don't need another image blemish, They've already
Right.
they had a
Yeah.
they had a pretty darn good playoff run, like you said, with
Yeah.
with the Celtics and the Knicks having the games that they had, and I mean they had a good run, but man, this could really mess things up.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you one thing. I tell you, I
Example.
tell you from I think they do need to come down hard if they're gonna do anything, if it is true. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I tell you from a fan's perspective, do we really truly care?
Yeah.
Does a
Kinda
fan really
do,
care?
'cause
Like, I mean, at
I
the same
do.
time,
I
you kind of do, but really, does it really matter how he get paid? He get paid more than us anyway, so we don't care about that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
It's cheating though. Like
yeah,
we're
I
fans. We're passionate about the game. We want it to
well,
be
yeah,
true. We want
I
y'all to
still
be
want my
real.
team to
I
have
mean,
a
yeah,
fair
that's
shot at
that's
the
true. That's true.
championship.
But let's just be
And
honest
Right.
with you. I don't think he did. If they found out anything, I think that's probably something that's done happen in the later years. It didn't stop him from going. I don't think it had anything about him going to the Clippers in the first place. So maybe if whatever contract they had, for me, yeah, I see the point, but at the same time, I really don't give a damn. Like, I really don't
You know.
care. And some parts of me doesn't care. Some parts of me says I do believe that if it is true, they need to come down with the hammer because yeah, that is BS to try to fulfill a contract like that.
It
But
doesn't quite affect you the same because you're in the Eastern Conference and where our teams are in the Western Conference.
that
And
don't mean.
I don't think that makes it.
I'm
I mean,
thinking
if
for the
anything
fans,
does,
the fans'
yeah.
perspective, do you want to see Kawhi Leonard play basketball? That's really what most people care about. Do you want to see him play
yeah, I mean
basketball?
it doesn't matter. He's under. I guess you got
He's
a point.
already
He's under
he already was
contract,
under
so it doesn't
contract.
matter.
So if he got paid under the table to do whatever, okay, he's getting paid millions of dollars either way it goes. So on the books, he's getting paid this. Then he's just getting this little whatever they're doing. I don't know how there's certain events in the contract and stuff. That is crazy work because I've never heard of this stuff before
crazy,
in my
yeah.
days of watching or hearing or even seeing basketball. I've never heard of this wild stuff before. But in the same time, it's just like, well, they already get paid more millions than I ever got, so I don't really care how he's getting this.
Boy, they've got.
Donate me some of that money, bro. Let me get that.
I mean, that
But I
just
mean,
takes some big
I mean, but cheating is cheating regardless. I mean,
fortitude.
that's cheating.
Come on.
Yeah.
Because you never know what that extra bit of money that they had to spend, like, would they actually had gotten other players if they weren't doing this? So, it could cause them to, gain an advantage because they got extra money that they
Exactly.
really don't have,
On Kawhi,
and they're
yeah.
getting extra players for that. You know what I'm saying? So I see it from that perspective, yeah. But as just a person that just likes to watch basketball, fans perspective, I really don't care. I don't like the Clippers anyway, so it don't really matter to
Me
me what
neither.
the hell they do. Kawhi might
Yeah.
I mean, if you really think about it, he's been getting paid for not showing up to play ball for years. I mean, how many times he
Right.
done been injured?
Yeah. Well,
So
why is it now
That's
that every
true.
time something controversial happens, you're like, oh, what did the Clippers do this time? I mean,
yeah,
there's-
it's
Yeah.
starting to get
That's
it's starting to get
that's
like
true.
that.
Clippers are always in the principal's office, man. I don't understand.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Yeah.
What's going on with the Clippers? And they just got that new nice new
That's what I'm saying. They
stadium.
moved
That new
out of the
stadium,
Staples,
They,
got
they
their own
yeah
arena and stuff.
they
That
got
guy's
their
I
own
mean,
arena
as a
now.
Laker fan, I know y'all happy to get them mugs out of y'all stadium. So I mean,
Absolutely,
y'all go
absolutely.
ahead, go on somewhere else. But I mean, at the end of the day, though, cheating is cheating. You should be punished. If he has to
Yeah.
sell the
Yeah.
team, that should be it. If they have to forfeit draft picks or something like that, things like that. There's things that you
That's
can, but like not just with Steve Ballmer, but what consequence do you put on Kawhi for making a deal that you know that's under
That's
the
the
table?
question. That's the question. That's
Like
the
do you
question.
suspend him for a couple of games, or if do you
He be
suspend him for
suspending himself.
or do you fine him the money that he's been?
Look,
Who knows? What do you do? That's the
How does he
question.
recover from that? I mean, really? I mean,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, reputation is shot if it's
his
true.
reputation's
Like
done.
we
Yeah.
looking
How do
at
you
you
yeah,
recover
like,
from that? That's
boy,
like,
you.
because
gambling.
now other teams are like,
Yeah.
hmm
yeah. So it's, I don't know. Yeah. It was just, it's different. I've never heard of anything like this.
Man, yeah.
Me neither.
Um,
It might
and
have been
so
something that
yeah,
used to happen back in the day, because them boys never back in the day weren't getting paid worth the dang. So who knows? They might have get. we just
yeah,
never got no
That's
publicity
something.
on it. You know
I
what I'm
think
saying?
that's something that would only happen during the salary cap era, though. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
it's crazy.
True. Yeah,
But
that is
that's
crazy.
crazy though.
then,
But
then
cheating
when
is
you think
cheating,
about
man.
it, you're like, man, I wouldn't be surprised if this has been going on.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially in
Yeah,
They might have just been the ones that got caught.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, especially. I mean, they've only had the salary cap in basketball for maybe 20 years, but I wouldn't be surprised if this has been going on because
It's
yeah,
when
crazy,
you think,
but it's
man,
diabolical
why
though.
would you
yeah.
Yes.
risk that? That's
Why would you? Yeah, why would
wow,
you risk it? I agree, Gary. Why
yeah,
would you risk it? The thing is, man.
pretty cool. Why now?
Yeah, sports. Like I've heard, um, I've heard. I can't remember who it was, and they were talking about being a franchise owner of a team, right? And
hmm
a lot of these owners own other things that are probably worth more than their team, right?
Yeah,
Like they own so many, you know what I mean? Like
Walmart and
I
Microsoft
guarantee it.
and stuff.
and
Yeah,
all of that, right? And
Kraft.
so and so the conversation was that the owners of these teams kind of treat their teams like a
Hobby.
classic car that they're
Yeah,
rebuilding. Like it's a hobby. It's fun, right?
hmm
Um, and so like let's say we refer to it as like drag racing or some kind of racing, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to get a competitive edge, so you're gonna slip some certain kind of slicks that you're not supposed to,
yeah,
and something like that. You're gonna give it a try. So that may be where the
Hmm.
why would you try? Because
yeah,
it's almost like a runner taking steroids or a swimmer taking
Yeah.
steroids. They
yeah.
sometimes they try, but
Trying to
you
get a
get
competitive
caught.
advantage. Yeah.
You get caught. I mean, obviously, it hasn't helped them get past the first, second
Yeah.
round of the
I mean,
playoffs.
that's the other thing I was gonna say. Yeah, he might have did all this stuff, but has it really panned out for him?
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
He
you
he
know,
he been he been injured sitting down the sideline for so many times. I mean, they ain't got deep into the
Now, didn't
playoffs
they
in
just
forever.
sign Chris Paul for his last season or something with the
did
Clippers?
they?
Yeah, I think so.
I
Something
thought
like
they
that. I
were
know he
signing
wanted to
him.
go there.
Yeah.
He
I
did.
wonder if
Let's
that's
see.
going to change stuff.
Yeah, that could.
This is
Let's
supposed
see.
to be his
Where's
last season.
Yeah, this is supposed to be his last, and apparently it's supposed to be
Wow.
LeBron's last.
Really? I didn't hear
We'll
that.
see.
LeBron don't know what he
Yeah,
gonna do. He always playing
yeah, he
games.
don't. But yeah,
He's a machine. He could
LeBron.
play.
Let's see. Chris Paul. Let's see what they have. Chris Paul. Questions five. I don't know. It hasn't said anything about where Chris Paul is gonna go.
Hmm.
So, former NBA takes a massive shot at Chris. Yeah, it hasn't said anything about where Chris. Oh yeah, Chris Paul signed a 1 year, $3 million contract with the LA Clippers. Yes.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah. So yeah. I mean, I don't know if that
That's
changes.
crazy.
They obviously the NBA is going to investigate and see what is going on. But I just thought that was like a really odd. I thought that was a really odd thing because I guess because it was something that I've never. I mean, we all none of us have seen it.
Never,
I would.
never heard of
I
that
think.
Like you
before.
were going to
Yeah, I
say he
think.
got caught gambling or something, because that's what
You
seems to
know,
be happening to a lot of these players. Is
Yeah, no, it was.
they're messing
Yeah,
around with that online gambling stuff and getting caught
yeah.
in that, but had no
Well,
idea.
see,
and that's crazy
so
in itself.
Third party.
there's a trickle down thing to this too, because now I'm thinking, okay, if he was getting paid under the table, so is
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
IRS,
Call.
taxes, IRS.
Or is that how they found out? They're like, oh wait, why
Yeah,
they
that
look at
could
the
be.
1040
Hit him
and
with an
they're like,
audit. You
whoa,
know what I'm
what's
saying?
happening
Got him with
here?
that
Yeah,
audit. Oh,
yeah.
where's this extra money coming from?
From yeah. So that's another thing I just thought about. I'm
Yeah.
like you said,
That's
that might be
crazy.
how he got caught.
That's
Obviously, the
crazy.
NBA
And I
is
would
gonna
risk
investigate.
getting busted by the NBA before I'd get risk getting busted by the IRS or the government,
IRS, yeah,
We'll
for
see.
sure.
We'll see how hard
Yeah.
Adam Silver comes down with on him. I
Jail,
know if it was David
suspension.
Stern, but they be really
Oh
in
yeah.
trouble because Stern is
Now,
gonna
if it
come
was
down
David
hard,
Stern,
hard.
yeah, yeah,
We don't know. We'll see what Adam
yeah,
Silver
for
do.
sure.
Might get a slap
We'll
on the
see.
wrist or something.
We'll see. We'll see. Gary, man, you keeping
Yeah.
up with the wild card race currently?
Yes. Yeah. All of this stuff. There's a lot of fun stuff happening in baseball right now.
There is. I definitely I'm really surprised about Toronto.
Yeah.
Really surprised at what they're doing. Not really surprised by what Detroit's doing. I would you know what? You know what I do like about this season is like the races that are happening. It's especially in the American League, it's
Mm-hmm.
really close. It's like really close,
Sure.
like the teams. I'm
Mm-hmm.
loving that. And that's one of the things like I get it historically, with the Yankees. Um but over the last, I'd say 5 years, I
Yeah.
do like that it's not, all about them. And
Sure.
I know that the Dodgers have been kind of on the pedestal. I know Houston had their run, but Houston kind of has the black eye with their whole cheating, stealing signs thing a couple years back.
Yeah. See, that
So
was a
yeah,
clever one. That one was like, wow, that's yeah.
I remember that.
it,
Baseball is different when it comes to cheating and stuff because it's like if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, kind of thing.
the unwritten rules of the
Exactly.
of
You got
baseball.
Gaylord
Yeah,
Perry, who was best known for, the amount of spit and Vaseline he used to he put on his baseballs and stuff. And
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
the George Brett pine tar incident,
Oh yeah, that
Sammy
was a big
Sosa
deal.
getting caught with the cork in his bat and stuff.
Back. Oh yeah, I remember that too.
And
Yeah,
then
the
don't
cork
even get me
back.
started with the steroids, that was such a prevalent thing for 10 years
Look, steroids
in,
was
in
fun.
baseball.
Okay,
Yeah,
It did made it fun though.
no doubt.
steroids
Yeah,
was
it
It
fun.
was
made
I'm
it
fun.
fun to
sorry.
Yeah.
watch.
Chicks dig the long ball. You remember that commercial? Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, but the Yankees this year, they're at the top of the wild card right now, in the American
Yes,
League. But I
in the
think
American
out of
League.
all the American League teams, they've probably got the easiest road from here on out. This is the last month.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
they're playing a handful of games against the White Sox. They've got the Nationals coming
Easy,
up on their calendar. The
easy.
Orioles, who are so disappointing this year, they've got 4 more games against them. The Yankees have the easiest path to the playoffs right now. So
Yeah,
I don't see anybody. I see out of all the teams, I don't see them falling off and out of the hunt right now. But now the
no,
Red Sox are looking good. Their return or their strength
which
of
is
schedule is
surprising.
manageable.
Yeah,
They've got a good team. They got a strong young pitcher just started. Just came up from the minor leagues too.
minor
Pitched a
leagues.
hell
Yeah,
of a game against Skeens the other day.
yeah.
And then the Mariners, the
Oh
darling
yeah,
team of the American League right now
league
with their catcher just hit his 50th home run.
home
Cal
run.
Raleigh.
Yeah.
Oh, there's
We
so
talked
much
about
to
that.
love
Yeah.
about the Mariners this year and to love about him because you've got these incumbents in both the Dodgers and the Yankees right now in Shohei
Yeah.
and Judge who are favored. I mean, both the teams and the players are favored to be champions and to be, MVPs.
Right.
But you've got these perennial up and comers, if you want to call them that. You've got the competition in Seattle. Both the team is playing really good baseball right now, and he's on a tear. I mean, a
Right.
switch hitting catcher who's hit 50 home runs, so he's hit more home runs than any catcher in baseball history, and he's about to hit more home runs than any switch hitter in baseball hitter history. And the guy
Right.
who he's going to surpass is a guy named Mickey Mantle. So, I mean, there's a
Yeah.
lot of fun stuff happening. So I think that right there, if he does, I mean, he might even beat Judge's American League single season home run record that he hit, surpassed a couple years ago in 62. So it's fun. The American
Yeah.
League is really fun. The National League is pretty exciting too right now. You mentioned the Cardinals and all the fun we're having with them and then the Cincinnati Reds, and they're a hot team, and
Well,
they've got
that's
some
yeah, and
young
that's the problem.
studs. I mean,
I'm
they're
not
so much fun.
I'm not having fun with my Cardinals right now because we have to get past the Reds. And they keep it's like we'll get where we need one game and we need them to lose. I think they're playing right now. I think they're losing, right? But we'll have one game, and if we win and they lose, we're ahead of them,
Man,
and
we're
then we
39 and
lose.
100, so I don't want to hear nothing. My Rockies, I wore this shirt today on purpose. Yeah, 39 and 100 now. We are more
That's
games behind the Dodgers than games we've actually won this year. There's so many
that's
amazing
terrible.
things you can say about this team. But no, I don't think the Cardinals. I think they had to run the gambit perfectly in order to qualify for the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
And yeah, it might be too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Cubs and the Giants have an easier strength of schedule
Schedule. That's the thing.
going
Yeah.
into the end of the season. Even the Mets have a tough schedule, so there's a chance you can surpass them because they're the third wild card spot right now.
Current spot. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and then the Padres. Wow. I mean, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting
Yeah.
the Padres to be, at the top of their division, if not, at the top of the wild card. So it's
Wild card. Yeah.
it's a
They're
fun
right
season,
there. I mean,
and
they're
you
neck
don't
and
even know
neck with the
why.
Dodgers. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would just say, with the American League, I would love to see the Mariners
Mm-hmm.
surpass Houston. Because look, I know I live down here in Texas, and there's a lot of Houston Astro fans, but for some reason, I just dislike the Houston Astros, man. I just,
You're not
I
alone.
just,
Yeah, you're not alone.
I just dislike the Houston Astros,
Yeah.
man. I
No,
and it's
they're easy to dislike. There's no,
yeah.
there's no.
I,
I
I
totally understand. I don't know why. I don't know why I hate them, but I do. I don't care about the
right.
cheating thing because we talked about baseball. Just
Yeah.
that's kind
It's
of
that's
what
that's the
happened.
thing. Yeah. Yeah. Like baseball is just kind of known for that, but yeah, if the Mariners can surpass Houston, I'd be happy. And over in the American League, that's what I would love to see. I would love that. I'm glad I'd be. Look, I
Yeah,
don't
it's not
I
going to
don't
matter
hate.
though, because the
Yeah,
Tigers are going to destroy everybody this year. I don't think. I don't think
and I
anyone.
I
I
wouldn't
don't
be
think they
mad at
have a
Detroit
Detroit.
like that. I'm not
No,
surprised by Detroit, but I wouldn't be mad either.
no,
You,
it's fun to see Detroit at the top
and
again. That's the best
I
thing about every team in the Central divisions in both the American League and the National League, except for the Cubs, are basically paying their players the same. You know, so it's not
oh
like
yeah,
one team has an advantage over the other as far as, because there's no salary cap in baseball. So
baseball,
the
yeah,
Dodgers, they're paying five of their players. They're paying one of their players as much as Colorado's playing their entire roster.
yeah, which is crazy.
Which is nuts, with Shohei and
Yeah,
stuff. And there's nobody getting even close to that in Colorado. But,
right.
there's nobody
Hey,
getting
you
that
gotta
close to that in the
remember
rest
what you
of
said.
baseball.
You know,
But,
they getting their
mhm.
AA. They working their, what I'm saying, their minor leagues. Y'all Colorado gonna get right. Y'all working y'all minor leagues to get y'all, you know,
Okay.
y'all
Them
players.
Rockies,
It's
Yeah,
kind of
I
rocky out
know.
here.
I love them. I love them. But yeah, I mean, there's something to be said about a Central Division team that's doing very well right now. I mean, the
right.
Twins fell off a cliff again after a really solid season last year. But
Yeah,
and same with the Orioles. I mean, the Orioles had a great season last year, and now they're terrible. And now the Mariners, who they kind of always lurk around, but they've never even been in a World Series before. So it'd be fun to see
no,
them play in the World
it
Series,
would be.
and it'd be fun to see them maybe play the Padres, or
Yeah,
see what would happen if, this 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 Seattle team ended up playing, who knows, the Dodgers, and then you get
yeah,
another David versus Goliath kind of matchup and
kind of
stuff.
deal. Yeah,
If with the Tigers, if they play
yeah. You
the
got the
Dodgers,
Tigers.
they've got their pitcher Skubal. He's as good as any pitcher in baseball right now. Even
Hey,
though Steams is amazing, he's not winning
but
anything. The Pirates are terrible this year.
yeah, yeah.
You
Well,
know,
people are kind of like overlooking the Blue Jays too. They kind of
sure,
flying
yeah,
under the
Blue Jays
radar.
have a good. They're leading the division right now.
Yeah,
A division with the Red Sox and Yankees, and the
and the
Blue Jays
Yankees in
are
it.
on
Yeah,
top. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, it's this is a fun season.
yeah.
Like you
Oh,
said, especially the central teams.
and we didn't even
Um,
mention the Phillies. The Phillies are
no,
on the swimming
they're
pool
leading
right now.
they're leading their division.
And
What, four
Schwarber's
games
about
above
to
the
knock
Mets?
Otani off the mantle for MVP and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah,
there's a lot of fun baseball being played right now.
yeah,
And
yeah,
when
but
your team is out of it, you can actually enjoy the rest of the
yeah,
league.
yeah, yeah. You're
And my
not
team is
worried
out
about.
of it
You haven't been
anymore.
worried about your team for a while.
We were eliminated for next
That's
year's
funny.
playoffs.
That's funny.
Yeah, you haven't been worried about your team for a while.
Since
Yeah,
2007, man.
golly, sheesh.
That's
But
tough.
you stay loyal to them.
Sure.
That's
Yeah.
hey, that's what's important, man. So yeah, no, I'm actually really excited about the playoffs. We got what, another month of regular season ballpark,
Last game's on the
another month.
29th of September. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, another month, and
Got
October
4
is
more weeks.
that time of year for the playoffs.
Yes, sir.
Um,
Yeah, it's going to be
yeah,
fun this year. I mean, it's fun every year, but I'm really looking forward to this year
yeah,
because
for sure.
there's, like you said, I mean, you've got the same usual suspects, just like in
Right,
football, just like in basketball, but then you've
Hmm.
got this, new team that stepped up, because another team fell off or something. The Orioles went
right,
down, the Blue Jays stepped up, the
right.
Tigers stepped up because the Twins,
Went down. Yeah,
went down. So yeah, it's exciting. And
it is.
if the Tigers, I mean, they've got that Oral Hershiser capable, pitcher. You remember what he did against the Bash Brothers and the Oakland A's and stuff back in the 80s. He can just
Right.
shut a team down, and all you need is that one game, where somebody else steps up, like a Kirk Gibson did, in Game 1 of the '88 World Series, and Orel
Series. Yeah.
Hershiser just shut the rest of them, down the rest of the way, and they didn't even make it to 6 games. They could
Yeah.
easily do that. The Tigers have that
Right.
pitcher, and they have that defense, and they have that team, and I mean, man, they've got a solid roster. They are so much fun to watch this year. The Tigers
Yeah.
are, I think they're the team to beat in the American League, and I think that the Phillies are the team to beat in the National League because they're hot right now. Schwarber's
They're
hot
hot.
right
Yeah.
now.
And
God,
yeah. And the Mets, like you said, like they're right there behind the Phillies, but
yeah,
I
don't
think
sleep on the
I
Mets.
think
Yeah,
yeah, but I think with the Phillies have an easier route than the Mets. The Mets kind of have a tough
we've got a lot of catching up to
schedule
do.
ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, I had a
Yeah, the
question I
Padres
wanted to
got
ask.
the easiest strengths of schedule in the baseball by
Oh
far.
yeah,
The
yeah,
Padres, they've
yeah.
got the Rockies for like 7 games. Then they got the White Sox, they got the Twins. So that's the team with
The
the
Rock,
easiest schedule right now in baseball.
the Rockies is gonna that's a cakewalk clearly. So yeah, like just them having the Rockies for 7 games. That's
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, that's at least 5 or
Shots
6
fired.
wins right there.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. For
yeah.
sure. I while we were talking about baseball, I had a conversation, I think via Twitter or X as the people call it. And I you might have seen that I retweeted it, but Yadier Molina is probably it. I mean, I'm biased because he's obviously a Cardinal, but in my opinion, he's probably one of the best defensive catchers of all time. He's at least top 5 historically with what defensively as a catcher. I know he gets a knock because he wasn't like the offensive guy like that.
Sure.
But the conversation has been, is he first ballot?
Oh, I don't see why not. Absolutely. If you have a player that is so much better than any other player that ever played, whether it's defensive, especially defensively. Look at Ozzie Smith. Ozzie Smith,
Right.
if you looked at
Exactly.
his offensive numbers, he wouldn't have even been on the ballot, but he was just that
Yeah.
much better, you know. But then
On the
you look
defense.
at Andrew Jones, with the Braves.
Oh, that's
And
with the
he's
Braves.
like
That
one of the
great,
best center fielders defensively ever played. And he was also a great
yeah,
offensive player. And he still isn't in the Hall of Fame. So,
yeah.
but I really think the baseball writers like Molina. That's huge right
Mm,
there.
that
Liking the player.
matters.
It's
Yeah.
all, it's a popularity contest, Um,
Yeah.
I think that, that's why Parker never made it in. He was not liked that much, and he had the big, drug scandal back in the early 80s and stuff.
80s.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, Molina never had any scandal. He was always liked. He was always looked at as the leader of the team. He played for one
Yeah.
team his whole career, as far as I know. And
Yeah. He did.
and it's the Cardinals. I mean, everybody loves the Cardinals, especially the baseball writers and stuff. They always talk about how smart St. Louis fans are and all that stuff. And it's America's in love with the Cardinals unless you're sick of the Cardinals. So
Yeah.
it's I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And I'm not trying to take away. I'm just kidding about the Cardinals, and stuff. But
I know. I know.
he's. I mean, I think you think about like Charles Johnson. He was a great defensive catcher,
Catcher.
and a
Yeah.
few others, that I think about. But no, I can't even name 3 or 4 guys off the top of my head that were better defensive catchers than him. You look at Tony Pena; he was a great catcher for the Pirates for all them years,
Pirates.
and
Yeah.
with the Royals. You look at Rick Dempsey, what he did with the Baltimore Orioles and how great he was with them, and just their leadership, because the catcher's the leader of the team, the Gary
Yeah.
Carter,
Yep.
and
It's the anchor.
yeah, Pudge Rodriguez, and how much
I forget about
he meant
Pudge
to his
Rodriguez.
team. Yeah, and he was
Yeah.
I mean, he was a really good offensive player, but his defensive skills were very underrated. He was
Yeah.
good. I mean, he had a pickoff move, that was almost as good as Molina's. So,
Yeah.
there's
Molina is so
you
good
know,
at
yeah,
pickoffs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. His move to first base was legendary.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, I mean, just if there's a runner on base, that's must watch baseball right there. You want to
Yeah.
watch that game because you want to see what Molina's going to do.
Dude,
And
yes,
that's one of the
yes.
reasons why I would watch. Why I would like the guy. Because he's the kind of guy where you just got to watch because you don't know what you're going to see, and you're going to be mad
Yeah.
at yourself if you miss it. So
Yeah.
that's why I think he's a Hall of Famer, no doubt. And there's not many players you can talk about that kind of have that impact. You got the Griffies and even Bonds, back in his day, or
Yeah.
McGuire and
Yeah.
Sosa when they were up to bat, where you're like, I gotta see, I can't miss
Yep.
this at bat. I can't miss this. If you have a good base runner, when Ricky Henderson was on base and stuff, you never knew what was going to happen. It was just so
Happened. Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean, that's one of the reasons why I would say it's no doubt he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I think he deserves it. I think he's like definitely been just those clutch catchers. I've obviously watched him his whole career, and
Champions. Yeah.
and in my mind, I'm like that. It shouldn't be questioned, but it's all in the hands of the writers. It's not a
And
it's
in
not
his
a
circumstance, that's not a bad thing, though.
yeah, no, in his circumstances it is not a
Yeah.
bad thing. He does have the positives of
Good. I
that.
mean, if you're arguing with somebody who doesn't think he deserves it, then you're just arguing with a hater, man. I mean, the guy's either a
Yeah.
Cubs fan or he just doesn't know anything about the game. Because
Right.
you look at all the tangibles, he's the leader of the team. He's a Gold Glove. It's the most important defensive position on the team, right?
Yeah.
Maybe shortstop. You could argue shortstop, but no, I think it's catcher.
I think it's
and he's the
catcher, in
leader
my
of the team,
opinion.
and they're winning championships, and he's catching no hitters and stuff. I mean, yeah, there's whoever's arguing with you about him just doesn't know what about baseball. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't even waste my energy on people like that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know
for
what?
sure.
I'm just
Huh?
gonna disagree because he plays for the Cardinals and Big Bill
Oh
likes
my
it.
gosh.
So
See,
nah,
you don't
no,
know anything about baseball.
no, no. I don't think he should win.
Let me see. So
You just want to
so so we have some time to kind of go over a little bit of the NFL football. You know what? Honestly, I don't even want to talk about the Michael Parsons thing. It's stupid.
So I don't know why you even brought it up. Why you even say it?
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, we
even
can
want-
talk about him now because he's not the C word anymore. So there's that.
He's not the same word.
He's actually got a chance at winning a ring now.
Yeah, a pretty good probability.
Well, and that's what's crazy, man. I mean, we already talked about how great the Lions were and how great the Vikings were last year and stuff, and how the Packers could very well beat both of them this year, and then they go around and they get Michael Parsons.
First of all, I was like, why did you
How
trade
do the
him to a
Packers get
team
so
that's
lucky
knocked you
all the
off in the
time?
playoffs?
Yes.
Not only that, didn't they pay? Didn't they trade him off and end up paying one of the linemen
Yeah,
or
they
somebody
paid
on
a
their?
defensive back right after that.
Oh, I
And
know
then-
that.
Hold on. The gall of Jerry Jones to come out and say we're a better team now. You have to have big cojones to trade Michael Parsons and then publicly say we're better now.
This is going to be one of those. Oh, okay, we gonna see now. We gonna really see.
Yeah.
Hopefully, y'all are.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the only time that we talk about the Cowboys the last few years is before they actually start playing. Because once they
Yeah.
start playing, then the truth comes out,
Yeah. Yeah.
which we all
Well,
know, except for the Cowboy
We all know what
fans.
the
They
truth
trash.
is.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
what it
He's
is.
That's
delusional, but hey, he's the
t-
one that writes the check. So
hey, tomorrow night we will see they open up against Philly. So I'm
yeah,
sure.
he'll probably beat him by 20 points.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Do I even know this sport anymore?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know it, right? Like that's the thing. No, like I don't even want to talk about it. I think the better story is probably Baltimore versus Buffalo on Sunday night. I think that's, more interesting now, man.
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
Oh yes,
like
it
that
is.
Dallas is a joke. I feel like when we need a couple punchlines, just to like rag on somebody, that's what they've turned into. It's
yeah.
gotten comedic. It's gotten just hilarious. It's that I think at this point Jerry Jones knows it too, and it's just like anyway. Let me just
It's like,
move
why
on.
you even
Like,
got to
like
spend money when you can just turn on the TV and watch the circus every single day
Hmm.
with them?
exactly.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
yeah. So who do y'all got, man? Buffalo or Baltimore? I feel like that's the most interesting game this weekend.
I'm going with Baltimore.
You got
Yeah,
Baltimore.
Baltimore is always really good at this beginning of the season.
It's like regular season, Baltimore seems to be like
Yeah,
one of the
they
more
are.
dominant
Yeah.
teams. I don't know what happens postseason, but yeah, regular
Yeah,
season, I'm going Baltimore.
yeah.
Who'd have said this? The
Okay.
playoffs,
Lamar Jackson's deadly during the regular season.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And
once
you
that
can almost
playoff
say
come
the same
around,
about Josh Allen, but
yeah,
because Patrick Mahomes has everybody's number except for Joe Burrow, but fortunately for him, the Bengals are trash, so he doesn't have to worry about them except one time in his career. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's the interesting thing I think is gonna. I mean, is somebody gonna knock off the Chiefs this year in the AFC? Or
That's a
is
great
Lamar
story. That's
Jackson
what
or
I want to
Josh
hear.
Allen, are they finally gonna get over that hump?
Oh,
Or
yes.
are my Broncos and Bo Nix? Are they gonna jump over it? There's some
you
cool
never know.
storylines in the
Them
NFL
boys
this
is
year.
pretty good over
If
there.
Yeah,
if
it's really
Detroit, I
solid
mean, if not
preseason.
Detroit, if Denver can
Mhm.
build off of what they were last year, and
Yeah.
if they can
Hmm.
build on that, for
They've got a
one,
lot
that
of
division.
improvement to make because the Bills made them look foolish in the playoffs. Josh Allen, it wasn't even close. And that's fair because
That's
he's
true.
the MVP. But
But
yeah,
Bo Nix is also a rookie.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, and our
Experience.
defense is one of the best in the NFL. And you got a solid defense in the postseason, you got a shot.
Well, here's the thing. That division though, that's going to be a gunslinging division in
That's a
terms
fun
of
division.
it's
Yeah.
it's because the Chargers aren't exactly a pushover.
No,
Oh
yeah.
no, not with
They got
Harbaugh as their
Harbaugh,
coach.
man. They've got
Yeah.
one of the best coaches in the NFL, and you
Yeah.
could say that about almost every team. I mean, you got Peyton, you've got Carroll, you've got Harbaugh, and you've got Andy Reid
Yeah,
in the
y'all got a
AFC West
stacked
this year.
Man,
coaching
for
Holy
in,
cow!
one,
in the
think about
AFC
that coach.
West.
Think about
Yeah,
the
four
coaches
Hall of
in that
Fame
division.
coaches.
For yeah, absolutely. Four Hall of
That's a
Fame
heck of a
coaches.
that's a heck of a
Yeah,
pedigree on
Yeah, it
there.
is. Yes, it
I saw
is.
John
So
Gruden on the sidelines in Denver the other day. I was like, what is happening here?
really, okay.
Yeah, well, I guess him and Peyton are buddies. I didn't know, but
I
and I
ain't
wouldn't be
either.
surprised. I mean, it's a small fraternity, coaches and stuff.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
But yeah, and now he's with Barstool, so maybe he's doing
yeah.
some
He's with
media stuff
Barstool
or
now.
something down and everything. So, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's a heck of a coaching just
Yeah, that's gonna be a
roster
hard.
in
That's
the
gonna be an
AFC
interesting
West.
division to watch, though. It's definitely
yeah,
gonna
Yeah,
be
man.
yeah,
interesting to see what they do out there. Because
That's actually the division I'm most interested in.
I ain't saying that.
Outside of the NFC West,
Yeah,
the
I was about to
AFC
say
West is.
it's got to be the
Yeah,
NFC West all day long.
I said
yeah.
outside of the NFC. What? How long?
Well,
What?
actually, I
What?
ain't even worried
Why?
about the NFC West. I'm just worried about the 49ers. So I don't really care about anybody
Sure,
else in the
sure.
NFC West. So
Well,
if we ain't the best, then it ain't worth watching over there. So there's
well,
that.
then it
But
ain't worth watching for you this year, then. So.
we'll see. We'll see.
Oh, I respect that. I have a rule with the Bronca. I as a fantasy owner, I will not own another player from the AFC West on my fantasy teams. Not going to do
Really?
it. Oh yeah, especially the
Now, I ain't
Raiders.
gonna go that
Raiders
far now.
never. Nope.
I ain't never
I
gonna go
will
that
tank
far
a
now.
season before I
You
will
know
put
what
a
I'm
Raider
saying?
on my team. Yeah.
I
That
respect
I
that
missed the
though. I
draft one
The
respect
time.
that.
only thing that I won't put on my team starts with that C, with that stupid star. And it's the only players that I don't put on my fantasy
No,
teams.
Cowboys, I'll
Okay.
take a Cowboy any day.
Yeah,
But no,
sure.
I'm not putting a Raider on my team.
Yeah, I'm telling you like
Fair
this.
enough. I
I'm telling you
respect it.
like
That's
this. I can't put a star on my team. Just like I will never go ahead. I can't put a Duke jersey on because I'm a Carolina fan. I can't do it. That just does
All right.
that don't even match right. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. No, you're right.
Can't do
I,
it. I
There's
can't do
you
it.
cannot
I could appreciate
you
that. Yeah.
cannot be a Carolina fan and like even fix your mouth to think about something
I'm
Duke
wearing my Cameron
and you
Crazy
liking
shirt next week.
it. Yeah, you can't do it.
Yeah, I can't do that. It's a cardinal sin. I can't.
Be be before we get off of here, I would real
You
quick
not
before
going
the
to talk
season
about the
starts.
Rams?
No, you brought them up,
Wow.
Adrian. He brought them up, Adrian. You heard him. He
I
brought them
ain't
up.
said nothing.
I
I
didn't
ain't
bring them
said
up.
nothing. I ain't
Okay,
say nothing.
Rams house.
They just there.
Um, yeah.
Their
Okay.
team. Their team in the NFL. Yes, that is. They are a
let's
team in the NFL.
let's before the season starts tomorrow, and before we get off here, division winners, real quick, Adrian. Who's your division winners?
Well, we know who I think is gonna win the division in the NFC West, so I'm gonna go ahead and
I'm
bypass
not
that.
okay.
Um,
Bypass that one. We don't
so
care.
NFC North, I'm gonna go with, and this ain't because of the recent transaction. I'm probably gonna go with Green Bay. I
Okay,
think Green Bay
I
takes the
picked
North.
Green Bay as well.
Um, for the South, I got Atlanta. I think Atlanta is.
Okay.
I think Atlanta, because Saints ain't worth nothing. And Carolina might do something, but I think they need another year to really
Yeah.
help Bryce Young. So it's gonna be either them or Tampa Bay. But I think I'm gonna go with
Okay.
Atlanta over Tampa Bay. Um, NFC East, I think Philly repeats.
Okay.
I think they'll repeat. So the West, oh, AFC West. Just because I'm tired of seeing them, tired of seeing the Chiefs, I'm going with the Chargers. I'm gonna go with the Chargers in the West. I think
Okay.
they might proceed out the West.
Okay.
Could be Denver. I do got respect for Denver there. Um, AFC North, Baltimore. I think Baltimore takes the North. The South, I'm gonna roll with the Texans again. I'm gonna roll with the
Okay.
Texans this year, and then the NFC East, I think Buffalo got the East still. I mean
Okay.
AFC East. I think Buffalo got the East.
Okay. What you got, Gary?
Well, the Broncos are going 17-0 and winning the Super Bowl this year, so I've got them winning the AFC West.
Cold predictions.
The North, I agree. I think
Yeah,
I think the Ravens will win the NFC the AFC North again. I agree. Let's see here. The Texans. I don't. It's just too easy for them down there in the South.
Yeah.
There's no good teams in the South, other than the Texans, and I don't know. I hope Stroud has a better season this year than last year. His sophomore
I do
season
too,
was a
because he's on
little
my fantasy.
disappointing. Yeah, yeah. And then what's left? I've got the East, and I think that's the Bills. That's pretty easy right there, especially the Dolphins just fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
Then you look at
Yeah.
the NFC. I think it's all. I think the Buccaneers are going to win the NFC South.
It's a good
But
choice.
yeah, I mean, it could easily, swing towards the Panthers. But I agree with Adrian that they've got another year. They think their new coach and stuff got to get used to, with
Yeah.
Young and stuff. And then what we got? The NFC North. I think the Lions are going to win it again, just because they're they were so good last year.
Yeah.
The Redskins, I think, will win the East. I think that they're going to make the leap over the Eagles. That doesn't mean I think that the Eagles won't make it to the Super Bowl again. I think that they'll play each other again in the championship game. And then, the NFC West. I don't care. Let me think.
That's the right answer, Gary. That's the right answer.
I mean, the 49ers have lost a lot. I don't know. I mean, they put all their chips in on Brock. So we'll see how that goes for him, and stuff. And I'm a Shanahan fan, he's a Denver kid, so. But yeah.
So in other words, you got the Rams because you don't know what
exactly.
To do, so.
Because well, unfortunately they didn't get Micah, and then your boy's not coming out of retirement and all that other stuff. Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know much about the NFC West. I think so. Yeah, I'll put the Rams up there and say that they'll win it this year because I only know the players on their team, really, other than the quarterback for the 49ers and their tight end,
Yeah.
So
fair enough. I got obviously, the Rams for the West, the North, I got Green Bay. East, I have I have Washington Commanders, and that's because the NFC East hasn't had a back-to-back division winner in 23 years, 24 years.
A minute.
So, the South, I have Tampa. AFC, I have in the West, I have Denver. And then I have Baltimore. In the North, the East, I have Buffalo. And in the South, I have Houston, Texans. So we're all ballpark close to about the same.
Nice.
But it's going to be fun.
A lot of the AFC is not hard to pick, except for AFC North and the West. Typically is really it.
You're right.
Because Cincinnati could surprise some people. It's interesting. Nobody's like, soon as Aaron Rodgers committed to Pittsburgh, everybody stopped talking about Pittsburgh.
Well, yeah. I mean,
you get tired of talking about the team for
Yeah.
that long when nothing's happening over there. I
Well,
was tired of talking about Aaron Rodgers a long time ago.
What they win 9 and 10 games every year. That doesn't that doesn't catch a lot of people's attention. That's who cares.
Yeah, fair enough.
I can't even remember, who's been their quarterback, for the last 10 years, You have Russell Wilson thrown in there a couple times and Pickett, and since Roethlisberger, they haven't even been a contender for a championship. So, I don't think Rodgers, I think he's, if he was 4 years younger, maybe, if he hadn't had a torn Achilles 2 years ago, maybe.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But we saw, he didn't have a bad year last year. His stats were pretty good, but every quarterback puts up stats like that now. He didn't have, Rodgers numbers, and then he needs Rodgers numbers in order for the Steelers to beat the Ravens or the Bengals.
He needed a discount double check, and he didn't. He double check his discounts.
Rah.
Fair enough. Well, thanks everybody for joining the Fundamentals podcast. We thank you, and we will be back next week. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all's night and enjoy some football tomorrow night.
Yes, sir.
And don't turn off your browser until it's done saving.
All right, y'all.
All right. Later, y'all.
Yeah.
Bye. Have a good one.